See all these boxes? They're full of parts for the many bike builds I have planned this year. But today, all those projects have to wait, because I have something special for this video. It's a frame you likely haven't seen before, and I think you're going to like it. If you're a steel hardtail enthusiast, you're in for a treat. This frame is the Kostrikin HT Trail. It's a 4130 chromoly aggressive hardtail. Okay, I know what you're thinking. So what? There are lots of steel hardtails out there on the market. And you'd be correct. But this one is special. First off, this hardtail is from an American company. Now you're thinking, so what? There are lots of American brands selling hardtail frames. And you'd be right again. But American brands typically exhibit one or both of the following characteristics. One, their hardtails are overly conservative. Or two, they're just simply expensive. This frame is neither of those. The pictures on the website don't do this bike justice. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. The paint work on here is just this beautiful gloss, kind of Nardo gray. You have the Kostrikin logo on here, the HT Trail. But it's like these little things that I noticed on here, like inside of here, there's like a coating on the inside on the steel. It turns out that this frame is ED coated. This method provides an anti-corrosion protective coating to the steel frame to give it more longevity, while also providing a better surface for the paint to stick to. I've got a Chromag stylus over here that technically came out of the same factory. Let's take a look at that one. All right, here's the Chromag stylus, and I don't know, I mean, I guess it's got something. It's kind of greased up on the inside more than anything, and I haven't installed anything on this one, but it looks like they just greased it up on the inside, which tells me that it may not have the same coatings. The attention to detail is what blows my mind. This is clearly a bike designed by a custom frame builder. Somebody takes pride in every single frame he builds. And when he's contracting it out, he's gonna make sure that the bike has everything perfect. And let's see how much this weighs. This frame weighs 5.86 pounds. So for a steel frame, that's not bad. Not bad? That has to be the understatement of the year. The name Kostrikin emblazoned on the down tube might be familiar if you were part of the mountain biking scene in Northern California in the 80s and 90s. See, Nick Kostrikin is a custom frame builder, and he built bikes in Santa Rosa, California, a hotbed of mountain biking in the early days of the mountain bike. Nick started building frames at age 14, and he worked as a frame builder under such notable mountain biking pioneers as Tom Ritchey and Gary Fisher. He built the race frames for Ritchey's race team, which included his brother Bill. Sometime around 1990, he started building custom frames under his own brand. Eventually, Nick stepped away from frame building for a while to pursue a degree in engineering, and over the next 2 decades, he honed his craft. His engineering experience outside of cycling, coupled with his decades of frame building experience, influenced the design of this frame. From choice of materials, to the paint, which is gorgeous by the way, to the factory where the frame is made. These were all well thought out. Let's take a closer look at the frame. As far as bike standards go, the HT Trail is pretty standard. It's got a threaded bottom bracket, a boost rear end, 44mm head tube, and 31.6mm seat tube. The frame is made with triple butted chromoly steel. Triple butted tubing has varying thickness throughout it, which allows the frame builder to add compliance into the frame. Another benefit of triple butted tubing is that you will get a lighter weight frame as compared to other tubing. Like any good hardtail, the cable routing is external, of course with the exception of the dropper routing. Here we get internal routing that comes through the seat tube. Another well thought out feature is the bottle cage bosses on the seat tube. They're protruding outwards, which allows you to fully insert the seat post into the seat tube. And that seat tube is wonderfully short and straight, which allows me to use a longer dropper post. The rear triangle looks super clean with that narrow tubing. And that provides strong hints that this is a compliant frame. In the rear, the frame uses the Syntace X12 derailleur hanger and through axle. And while not as readily available as UDH, it is common on many steel hardtails. And certainly more available than a proprietary derailleur hanger. In fact, my Kostrikin BFE uses the same system. They can be found online and at bike shops, and they are relatively inexpensive. Let's talk about the geometry. First off, this frame is designed as a mullet. It's optimized to run forks with travel ranging from 140mm to 160mm. The mullet means that you have a larger 29-inch wheel up front and a smaller 27.5-inch wheel in the back. The intent of the mullet is multifold. 1. It arguably gives you a better riding position on steep descents. The 29er front wheel provides a little better angle of attack over obstacles, and the smaller back wheel gives quicker acceleration and more playfulness than a 29er. Nick tells me that this frame can also run as a full 27.5 bike. You just need to find a fork with the matching axle to crown measurement. As far as sizing goes, the HT Trail is available in sizes from small to extra large. The size small is a full 27.5-inch design, and the remaining sizes are a mullet configuration. Let's get into the geometry numbers. In true frame builder fashion, the geometry chart is detailed. It provides sagged and unsagged numbers for both 140 and 160mm travel setups. For those of you that don't know, sagged refers to the angles of the bike with the rider's weight on the bike with a properly set up fork. I wish all brands did this. I'm running a size medium with 160mm of travel. The geometry numbers are modern and aggressive, but not extreme. There are slight differences from size to size. The head tube angle for a medium unsagged is 63.9 degrees and 65.3 degrees at 20% sag. Now that's properly slack. The seat tube angle is 73.9 degrees unsagged and 75.3 degrees at sag. The head angle of the bike varies slightly from size to size, but there are bigger variances from size to size when it comes to the seat angle. I asked Nick about this, and there's a good reason for that. For taller riders who have longer legs and likely a longer seat post, steepening the seat angle will put the rider in the correct center of mass on the bike. Think of it like this. Since the seat tube is angled backwards, the longer the seat post is, the further back the saddle goes. This results in a wallowing feeling of the front wheel, which means that the front wheel is not properly weighted while you are pedaling.
Wow, I actually climbed really well. I climbed really well.
My favorite part of the geometry numbers has to be the size-specific chainstays. Each size has its own chainstay length, starting at 430mm for the size small and going up to 445mm for the size extra large. As with the seat tube angle, This serves the purpose of balancing out the bike to ensure that the tires are properly weighted for traction and control. These are the little touches that so many bike companies skimp on to save money. But custom frame builders like Nick feel a sense of duty to address. The reach numbers on this frame are properly long, ranging from 435 millimeters for the size small to a whopping 520 millimeters for the size extra large. The medium I'm building is at a very modern 460 millimeters. That reach figure tells me that the bike is suited for high-speed stability. We'll put this all to the test over the coming weeks and months. Let's take a look at the finished build. I just love the clean lines of the frame. The straight lines, the lack of a seat tube gusset, it all looks balanced but aggressive. Some have compared this frame to the Nuke-Proof Scout and the Transition Trans Am. But the geometry couldn't be any more different between these three frames. The HT Trail frame is priced very fair at $699. But actually, considering the build quality, material choice, fit and finish, this frame is actually a bargain. That's less than a lot of factory-built steel frames, and less than a lot of aluminum factory-built frames. The HT Trail is currently available in a frame-only option, and it's available in two colors, the gray you see here in this video, and this cool BMW M3 blue. You can check it out at their website, and I'll leave a link in the description. He's working on a lot of cool new products, including CNC milled cranks, pedals, chain rings, and stems. And he's also working on a full suspension bike that I can't share, but it looks pretty amazing. In the next video, we'll do a bike check and ride impressions. I plan to spend a lot of time on the HT Trail, and we'll compare it against some of the other hardtails I've ridden and have yet to build. So hit the like and subscribe buttons if you enjoyed this video and want to see more. With Nick's history in the sport of mountain biking, he could have easily played it safe and put out a conservative pub crawler frame for the handlebar mustache crowd. But instead, he embraced modern design while putting his own mark on it. And that's what's so exciting about this frame. I hope you enjoyed this leg of my journey. Thanks for watching.